Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, hope you're all doing alright out there. So the other day I'm riding along on my 2010 Yamaha XJ6 diversion and something crunchy happened in my left hand.
Oh, what was that? That felt bad. That was my clutch cable going a bit, I'm sure of it. Are you afraid? Are you... It did! I felt it! It got a little bit looser and the cable's got... Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to be really careful. Hope I get this thing home. Oh, Divvy, soon! You're gonna get your work done to you soon. Oh, God! Look how loose it is now.
So you might look at that and think the main bundle's holding it as that one that's broken off, but it's the other way around. I hadn't realised that till now, and I wonder it lost so much length. So the solution to this is to grab a new clutch cable, slap it in, job's a good one. Problem is, I'm actually planning on doing a more of a maintenance series this winter on this bike and on my other bikes, potentially. There's quite a few things I need to do to this one, and one of the things was to replace the clutch plates, very likely. Although now I'm wondering if it was something to do with the cable, although it was running fine until it snapped. And I also was going to replace clutch cable and yada yada. So I don't really want to replace the clutch cable yet, because I want to do that as part of the series. And fortuitously, my brain remembered something. These things exist. This is a universal motorcycle replacement kit. So what you've got in here is a cable and different ends to make a emergency clutch cable, and that's the point. This is supposed to be a get you home thing that you keep on you. Yes, people will now say you can ride without a clutch. Yes, whatever. But if you're in start-stop traffic, that's not exactly easy. So, and it's not great for your bike. So if you've got one of these, it may get you home. I have never used one of these before, and I don't know how long they're going to last or if they even work that well. So I thought, well, if this cable's more broken than I can use it anyway, there is no harm in me fitting one of these and seeing if it works, and if it does work, does it last? Now, I must make this completely clear here, you're not supposed to use these for an amount of time, but if I can make it last a week, then you know it's going to last your ride home, definitely. Ordinarily, these come in a little tin like this, but because I put this in my little mobile toolkit, I put it in one of these to make it smaller. I will just get a replacement, although this does come with 2 cables, so it's not such a problem. I assume... Oh, hang on, these are actually different thicknesses, and possibly... Yeah, they're different thicknesses. I hadn't realised that. Right, well, it's going to be the thicker one. Yeah. If you look, I've just realised the ends are completely different too. You've got a tiny little ball end on this one. And then there's this big chonky end on this one. This is the only one you can use, really, for this. Then you have a bunch of these screw ends. You can see the cable can go through that way, and then you screw something in another way, and this one, it's all designed so you can find something that fits for your scenario. So what we need to know is the size of the drum on the end. Now, the idea of these is you do it at the side of the road, otherwise you just order a new clutch cable. So I'm going to try and do this as if I was at the side of the road. I'm going to have to cut it up here to get that end off. And then we're going to have to pull the cable out the bottom and then hope to feed this back up the same tube. That might not be as easy as it sounds, but we're going to find out. So the first thing I need to do is just cut this end fully off. And I'm actually going to do it past where it snapped and hope that I can preserve what actually happened with this. So there's the 4 strands that broke, and there is what was actually my clutch cable after they broke. Not a huge amount. That alone might work for a while. I mean, there's quite a lot of strength in that still, but the problem is, if you don't replace them when they fray, these ends start getting jammed up and your clutch can start getting, like, it won't fully disengage, and you can just get jammed, and a bit of this will go inside the sheathing and damage it. And the time to replace a clutch cable is when it first breaks. I know so many 125cc riders who will ride around with frayed clutch cables because they don't have the money to fix it or don't realise the importance of getting it done. Change them. They're 20 quid. So I need to see which end will fit in. That end fits in. So there's all these different ends you can use, but this one seems to be the best match for me. And this appears, because it has threads in the bottom, to want to take... Nope. It can't be that. So once you've chosen the end, you see what options they give you, because you've got screws, bigger screws, some that use a grub screw. This is supposed to be able to fix pretty much any cable. Then that gets wound together and obviously pinches onto the new cable. So when we cut the cable, it pinged back, so we now need to take this out. And because of the way we've done it, I can just pull it. Oh, there is a plastic tube inside this, because this is a silky glide? Slinky glide? I can't remember what they're called. Silky, slinky, silky. I need to keep that tube in the middle, which I've just held my finger. Okay, so this is the end of the clutch cable. It came out of here, and there's a little plastic tube just inside of there. And it goes to this arm, here, through this carrier, see, like that. So we need to run the cable up this tube so it pops out the top. So this is my cable, this is the replacement. They are slightly different sizes, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. So we've got to unravel our cable, try not to take your eye out. The thing is, we're going to have to cut this to length as well, so if you're doing this out in the field, you're going to need to have some cutters. Oh no, this is what I feared might happen. Can you even get it through? Yeah, they've glued the end of this together, so it should, in theory, slide in. But it doesn't. Okay, so I wanted to know, can you do this with the clutch cable in place as it should be? As in the bent shape that it should be? And the answer to that appears to be no, because, unless you're lucky, because when you get to a corner, it just doesn't want to go. I'm just going to damage the end of it. So, we have to take that panel off. Now, obviously, you would use an Allen key if you were doing this yourself out there, but I'm in a garage, so I'm not taking all day to do this. I want to disturb as little as possible, like you were doing this at the side of the road. So the clutch cable comes down here into there. I need more access. There's nothing more I can do. I'm going to have to take these out. Can we now feed this up in the cable? Yeah, this is the bit I was actually concerned about with these cables. It's only going that far because it's getting down to the point that this connects onto here, and there's obviously a step. And because it's round a corner, there is no way of getting it to jump up. Maybe if I try and bend the end a little bit? And you can't take this tube off because it's crimped on. We did it! We did it! We did it! That was just complete luck. Right, okay, so you may have to... We've stopped. Because there's an adjuster. And now we're to the adjuster. I think it's in a straight line, and now it doesn't want to go round it because of the bend we put in. We twist it, turn it, keep jib-jabbing it till we find it. Yes, you can. Okay, so there's a little tip. In and out, up and turn it, because you've got a slight bend in it, and eventually it'll find a place. Okay, so now it comes out of this end. We need to make sure that we hook the cable into the arm. Like so. Oh, there's like... I don't know if that's wax out the inside of the housing or if that's something that's on the cable to help it move. It does feel a bit slidey. Right, so that's through, so we can push this back round under here. So that end is done. So in theory, if you got lucky with your clutch cable's routing or the way that you jammed it in, you might not need to take anything off. If you do, you won't have to take it fully out, you just got to rejig it around a bit. Now, I've got to get this back through the way it's supposed to be, which means I'm going to have to lead with the cable. Under here. Like so. To give ourselves the best chance of getting a cable we can work with, I'm going to screw the adjuster all the way in. On your bike it might have a locking nut, on this one it's got this little single ring and a tab that makes it into a detent. Videos I've done in the past, people have got mad and said I haven't locked up my locking nut, and I'm like, I don't have one. Not all bikes are the same. Right, so then come through here. Right, can we put the end on it and then cut the length afterwards? These are things I don't know. But I'm going to find out. No. Right, so we've got to get the length. See, this is where it's the tricky bit, because you've got to cut this and have a usable clutch afterwards. So about there. Now, presumably, you want to do this up as tight as you flipping well can. Do you know what? I'm just going to set it and I'm going to adjust with the middle adjuster. It's really difficult to tell. I think I want it longer than that. Okay, another problem, didn't consider, is that when you chop off the cable, you do have a little bit still sticking out, and that seems to be preventing me getting this in the hole. Right, I'm going to have to loosen this and bring it further down the cable. I didn't want it. This was not how I was intending this to work out, and I've already lost most of my head of screw there. Right, it's not sticking out now, and it is right there, so it's still got somewhat of a grab on it. You have pliers in a toolkit, right? Are you going to go in now? Yes, you will. Can I pull you over here and get you in the cup? No, I can't. So I'm going to adjust the middle adjuster. Okay, I should show you this. You see that barrel, a nut and a thread. If I undo the little nut and screw the barrel along, it will shorten the overall length of the cable housing, which will give me more movement. That's the midline adjuster on clutch cables. It's not just these. Okay, right. So I've loosened the small nut that you saw. I'm now twisting the big barrel, as you'll see in a second. I should be able to get this over here easy now. There we go. Right. That's too loose. So we can now remove that length again. So we've got some free play. I mean, it's moving the clutch. Of course, now you have to wonder, how many times will this last? Well, obviously I need to put the bodywork back on before I can do anything with this bike, but we do now have a functioning clutch, which has got adjustment in it in both directions. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and I've been here for 5 minutes just doing this. Because I'm like, if it's going to go, it's going to go. Well, no, it's going to go eventually, whatever happens. It can't last forever, that grip. But I'm going to keep this on here for a few days. I'm going to be very careful with how I ride it. Remember, this is a product that is sold, and maybe you're going to do a 500-mile journey back home with it. Well, I'm not going to do 500 miles in the next week. Possibly a bit more work than you might want to try and do at the side of the road, depending on your bike and how easy it goes through your cable, etc. But this versus having no clutch at all, I'd go with this. The only issue is, I say, that the bits you have to be really careful of is how tightly you do up that barrel, and that's very difficult to do unless you've got a decent sized ratchet with you, and you also need pliers and screws and screwdrivers and whatever it takes to get the panel off your bike. You're also going to need a cutter if you're going to cut it, if it's like down to a strand and it's all jamming up. So you're not going to pull this out of your back pocket and just fix your clutch cable without any tools. You're going to have a whole kit with you. So this is more of well, it's why it's in my little travel kit of motorcycle tools that I can chuck in my bag and fix pretty much anything I need to at the side of the road. Do I have enough in that kit to fix this? Yes, I would have had all the tools. So that's good to know. But yeah, as I say, there you go. There's a practice run of it. Okay, obviously this isn't going to tell you a lot because it's only been on the bike for about 8 miles, but this cable feels great. It actually feels a lot better than the old one.
which isn't necessarily a surprise because obviously it was getting old. Now, as I say, you're not supposed to leave these on the bike longer than is absolutely necessary, but, you know, say you had to do a return home of 200 miles, well, I don't think I'm going to be doing 200 miles in this week of pottering around, so I'm not going to push it, but I am going to see how far, you know, if it lasts a week and doesn't feel any different, then it's probably reasonably trustworthy, based on absolutely nothing, and you should not do what I know some people want to do, which is switch it to one of these and just permanently use that.
I totally forgot to say, although you probably will have said, if you've ever used one of these universal clutch cables, how long did you use it for? Information, story, let's find out a bit more about these. There we go, she's all back together. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.